Alright, sit down, you little fucks. I'm here to tell you guys yet another story. This story is about Super Bowl 51. So for the people that don't like the Super Bowl, or, you know, actually, do I have a save game file on here? File, it would be load state, or it'd be load state as. And I do not. But this is going to be about Super Bowl 51. And for the people that don't like football, well, you might want to not watch this video. Or if you're trying to get into football, I feel like I'm a very knowledgeable source to get inside of somebody that actually breathes, lives, sweats football on a day-to-day basis. So in essence, in my opinion, that was easily the best game of all time, by the best quarterback of all time, coached by the best coach of all time. Am I a Patriots fan? No, I'm just legitimately stating the facts. Somebody that is biased will probably say, oh no, X person is the best player of all, or is the best coach or player of all time, or they don't have the accolades such as 5 rings, 7, I'm pretty sure it's 7, yeah, it's 7. 7 appearances. That's just ridiculous. Anytime you can make a dominant dynasty like that, and on top of that, get caught in scandals. My coach always said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So they were definitely trying. But get caught in scandals and still turn around and win another ring that season without your starting quarterback for the first 4 games. You can't. Coaching, it's good coaching. It's good coaching, and it's good players. I mean, it's just really about it. There's nothing really much to say about that. Everybody's going to get a ring that day. But let me rewind a little bit. We're going to start off with how my day went going into the Super Bowl. It wasn't really too spectacular. I woke up in the morning. I was dragged to the store, which, oh my God, never go to the store with 2 females. It's legitimately, I'd rather cut off my arm than go to the store with them again. The only thing they wanted to do was stop and buy stuff that didn't mean anything. Like, But, we wound up getting a whole bunch of stuff. And I mean, I'm like I said, I treat football, I don't celebrate any holidays, but if I were, it'd be the Super Bowl, because that and Thanksgiving, paying homage to the Native Americans, is my 2 favorite holidays, or the 2 holidays that the only 2 holidays that I celebrate. So, you know, we get a lot, and when I mean a lot of food, we get a lot of food. I don't know why we got so much food, because at the end of the day, while I am celebrating this holiday, I kind of didn't tell anybody I was celebrating it, so everybody made plans. So it's literally, fuck, why'd I do that? It's literally just me, Jaylene, and Amber. So it's just us 3, and we got enough food to feed a village. So I feel pretty bad about that. I mean, not really, because it's not going to waste, but still at the same time. We get home, and I am waiting for the Super Bowl, legitimately. I have never been waiting. Like, I normally find something to do. I'm literally sitting there watching the TV, waiting. And what's funny is that I'm not even watching, the pregame or anything. I'm not watching any highlights. It's literally, because I don't have cable, so I watch it on my Xbox. It's literally just a blank slate. And I'm sitting there looking at the blank slate, waiting for it to come. Like, waiting for the Super Bowl to happen. So, yeah, that's how, excited I was. I don't think I've ever been excited for any other type of game ever in my life, unless it's the Saints game. I'll probably wait. If I can get all the Saints games on there, it'd be awesome. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't have cable, I don't have regular season. Now, if somebody had that NFL pass or whatever, wanted to hook your boy up, then, we'll be eternally grateful. But other than that, I ain't got it. Ultimately, the game starts, and I swear, you guys call me unpatriotic if you want. I hate the first part, because legitimately, it's just a whole bunch of people singing and dancing and like, no, get to the football, please. Get to, I don't care, okay? And then you get this, oh my God, you get this old coot, the oldest guy in the world, to come flip the coin. Now, you guys are probably like, Kelly, if you don't know who it is. Yes, I do. It's George W. Bush. Do I really care? No, I don't care about George W. Bush. But still, you got the oldest guy in the world to come flip the coin. He can't do that right. So, immediately, I knew for a fact that something was up with the Super Bowl when you can't get the person to flip a coin right. So, or when you bring him out to flip a coin. And then somebody else pointed out that George Bush and the military guy. He looked Navy. No, he probably wasn't Navy. Okay, anyways, but they pointed out that him and George Bush looked like that dude off of SpongeBob, Barnacle Boy, and I don't remember, man. I don't pay attention to SpongeBob, but yeah, if you guys see it, the meme is right there. That's exactly what they said he looked like. I thought that was pretty funny, you know. Not really much else to say about that. But so the game starts, and the game starts very unnormal for the Patriots. Not saying that nobody can get, you know, not a single person can get shut out of a drive. It's how they got shut out of their drive. Just the momentum wasn't there. You start off with passes, which, you know, like I said, when you're one of the best, when you are the best quarterback in the history of the NFL, then starting off with a pass isn't so bad. But it's the energy. It didn't feel quite yet there. It felt like they were still settling in. And for somebody to be to a Super Bowl 7 times, I guess it never wears off that, you know, you get a little nervous of being in the biggest game in your playing career. Even, like I said, even if it is for the 7th time. So that kind of threw me off. The next thing is how the Atlanta Falcons came off. As soon as they came out, it was, oh my God, it was a big run by Devontae Freeman for, I want to say 27 yards. It was something phenomenal. And I'm like, legitimately, they can't stop that. Like, they did not stop Devontae Freeman from running the whole first half. And legitimately, from my perspective, I've seen a lot of football games. Like I said, I like to say I have a lot of knowledge in the football games. When you can't stop outside runs, when you can't stop runs up the middle, you can't win a game. Because essentially, when you can't stop the run, it not only means that the opposing team can control the clock, it also means that the opposing team can do whatever they want to you. When you can't stop the run, you can't stop the pass. When you can't stop the pass, you can't stop them from scoring. I shouldn't have to say anything else other than if you can't stop someone from scoring, you can't win the game. And that's exactly how Atlanta treated New England for a good portion of the first half. Even though I don't think they scored on that drive, the fact that they were able to break off really big gains just showed you the intensity or the readiness that Atlanta did bring. I got stuck. And I think that's huge. I really do. I think out of all things, that's probably the biggest thing you can do is to bring that type of intensity at the beginning of the game. Now, as you guys should know, Atlanta didn't win that game. I'll be the first person to tell you guys why. After, you know, I'm done doing all the other stuff. I didn't even know I can do this. This is hella cool. I hope I'm going the right way. It doesn't feel like it. I don't think I've ever been here in my life. Oh, I have. I just went in a circle. I felt like trash. Yep, I just went in a circle. But, ultimately, like I said, when you can run the ball, when you can throw the ball like that, you win the game. Now, Julio, as you guys should know, Julio Jones he can be considered, I wouldn't say the best wide receiver. No, you can't give him that type of, you know, numbers, but he is considered as one of the best wide receivers right now. And if he continues on the path that he's going, he can easily be the best wide receiver of all time. And I'm going to tell you guys why. Julio Jones, I don't, you know, I'm not really a Falcons fan. So Julio Jones stands at, I want to say, the average big receiver, 6'4". Let me look it up. Because I know, it's not really his size that matters. It's his size and his speed. So I'm going to say, just take a rough shot in the dark. He stands at maybe 6'4", 6'5". That's not, you know, there's a lot of big receivers. You can put a big corner and, you know, have the big corner handle a big receiver. It's the fact that Julio runs a sub 440, which if you guys did not know, it's how fast you can run within 40 yards. That makes him a legitimate threat. Just the fact that the guy, wow, really? The guy is bigger than your corners, faster than your linebackers, stronger than your safeties. So he's legitimately a matchup nightmare. And if you double team him, it still doesn't matter. He can still beat double teams with ease. So to hold him to the catches that he had, in the first half, that's phenomenal. But at what price did it come for? Like that was the biggest problem that I seen, is that the New England was they were either combo coveraging him, they were sub coveraging him, they were bracket coveraging him. They always had their eyes on Julio. And when you have your eyes on Julio, as a Saints fan, I mean, kind of see this happen on a day-to-day basis, Matt Ryan will eat you up on those small and intermediate passes. Not only that, they have really good second receiver in Mohamed Sanu. Taylor Gabriel is always a receiver that I wanted to look out for. He's a pretty dope receiver. Tails. Shit. He's a pretty dope receiver in himself. So, certain players you always have to look out for. But when you have to guard Julio, and you open up, avenues for your other receivers, Mohamed Sanu, Taylor Gabriel, Devontae Coleman, Devontae Freeman? Is it Devontae Freeman? It's Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman or some shit like that. But when you open up lanes for them, then it's all types of headaches. So my philosophy, if I was an NFL head coach, is get my best defensive back and hope to God that he can, solve that Julio problem. He can solve that Julio problem. If not, then, there's the game. Which the Patriots did adjust to in the second half. Their bracket coverage got a little easier, which means Julio did open up for some catches. But they had a decent sized pass rush. They really threw Matt Ryan off. So that's what really matters. It's not necessarily guarding Julio. You don't have, in my opinion, you don't have an MVP quarterback in Matt Ryan. He just happened to have a really good season because you have to guard Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu, Taylor Gabriel, Devontae Coleman, and Devontae Coleman, Devontae Freeman, and the other guy, Devin Coleman. You have to guard all those guys. So when you have so many weapons as a quarterback, if you suck, then you'd be mediocre in my opinion. And if you're good, then you'll be great. I can't see a quarterback with that many weapons sucking it up. And then you think of Blake Bortles. But then you also have to come apart to coaching, which we will talk about as well. So if I remember correctly, the Falcons were up 28-3. That I don't even know how to explain that. That is a type of lead that, because I remember before we even came to the game, before even the Super Bowl, I was like, Patriots never get blown out. And, as you can see, in the biggest game where it matters the most, they're getting blown the fuck out. Which is, I find it kind of, I just find it kind of weird that, the team that, legitimately, I want you guys, if you guys can, look up NFL scores for the Patriots in the last X amount of years. It's really hard to find a game that mattered where they got blown out. It's because they don't. They have a really good coaching. So for them to be down to 28-3, I was like, well, looks like it's time for them to get blown out. So I turn off the game. All right, I turn off the game. I go play Madden. And, I'm in the Super Bowl just by occasion. And, it was the Bengals versus us. We were undefeated because, I got all the swag and I was getting my ass ran on. I don't know how Giovanni Bernard became that good. Fuck you, Aaron. You didn't tell me how good Giovanni Bernard was and how hard it was to stop the run when he runs. Not the fact that, he's, fast or anything. This the nigga just breaks so many fucking tackles. This is like, all right, I got you. But that's where everything started to go downhill for the Falcons. So, like I said, I didn't get to see the Patriots get to 20 points. But as soon as they got to 20 points, because that's when I was like, this game's over. And then Jalen was like, you never know what happens. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, save that bullshit for somebody else. Nobody has ever came back from a 10-point deficit. And then I also have to think that no Super Bowl MVP has also won either. So, history was going to be made one way or another. So they get up to 20. And I'm like, well, they're only down by 8 now. This looks like a game. I turn on the game and I see some niggatry I have not seen in a very long time. Like, I'm talking about just like all sorts of what the fuck is going on type niggatry. Like the stuff you would not take, anywhere. Like, so I want you guys to put this in perspective. As much as I don't like the Atlanta Falcons, they're a good team. How the fuck? Is it the third quarter? Or is it's the top of the fourth? And you're only up by 8. You have legitimately not scored a single field goal, touchdown. See, when you're up by 25, field goals can win you games because you're up by 25. Also, keep in mind what I said at the beginning of our conversation, that when you can't stop the run, you win the game. There is no way you're up by 25 in the late half of the game and lose. Why? Because now you can run the ball, which means you control the clock, which means you can run the clock out, which means you win the game. How does this not happening? How are the Patriots still how are the Patriots still in this game? How are they down by 8? So they're down by 8. Here's like I said, this is the most pivotal drives of the game. Down by 8, right? The Patriots or the Falcons have the ball. They drive it, which I would believe is to the 30, or it was like the 20-something. It was like the 20-something. We're looking at it. I'm like, okay, Patriots lost. In order for them to even salvage this, a lot of things need to happen. Matt Ryan needs to get sacked. Right after I said that, right after I told everybody, Matt Ryan needs to get sacked. That is the only way. You have to get him into deeper field goal range, and then you'd have to block a kick. Matt Ryan gets sacked, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, seriously, they're still in field goal range. They're at the 33, and they, from what I remember, they have a pretty good kicker. So, this game still is pretty much over. Like, there's not really much else to say. The next thing that needs to happen, I'm like, this needs to happen right now. Another sack, or, and I put a pretty big emphasis on the or part, a penalty. And not just any penalty. It has to be like illegal blocking in the back, on a run play. It has to be, something that would cause, just something that would have to put them back another 10 yards out of field goal range. Now, Lord behold, it's a fucking holding call. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Seriously, what is going on? And then I was like, damn, now, instead of Atlanta running the ball when they should have, which would have prevented the sack, which would have prevented the holding call. Don't know what they're thinking. If you're in field goal range, run the ball. It's 4 minutes left in the game. You run the ball, the Patriots not only have to score, not only do they have to convert, because they're down by 8 right now, they have to convert a 2-point conversion, they have to get the ball back, and then they have to score again. That sounds pretty unlikely in the event where, you're up by 11 with 4 minutes left. It's very hard to recover an onside kick. So, with all those stipulations, Falcons still have it. All you Atlanta fans, you should be celebrating your Super Bowl. Now, what I see is the worst thing happened in those two events, and now Atlanta is forced to throw the ball. And I'm like, boy. Okay, so this is the next thing that needs to happen. Atlanta cannot make a completion. If Atlanta, because if I remember correctly, they're at the 43. If Atlanta gets anywhere near a 10-yard completion, this game is still over. So that's 3 opportunities Atlanta had to seal the game. And you guys would not believe what happened. Guess what? They don't get a completion. So not only does time stop because they did not get a completion, the clock also stops again. Or, not only that, they can't kick a field goal because they're too far away. And they have to punt the ball. It's 4th down. If you don't punt the ball, you give Tom Brady some pretty good space to score again. And, it's 4th and 33 or something. Like, the odds of you making that against a Patriots defense that has been stingy for a whole quarter and a half, or, a quarter and 3/4, however long you guys want to call it, is pretty low. So, of course, they decide to give, punt the ball. And this thing that I was like, okay, this can't happen. Wes Welker can't take that ball back. If I remember correctly, they get the ball at the 10. Or they get the ball at the 9. So I'm like, all right, something finally goes right for Atlanta, Ball at the 9. It's going to be pretty hard. Then the announcer says that, he says that if the Patriots get this drive, this will be the longest drive that they've ever had for a touchdown It was they obviously had one more in the regular season, so it would tie the longest drive they ever had. All right, I'm like, all right, that's unlikely. But then you start to think, you're like, it's not that they haven't been able to complete that drive. It's the fact that New England hasn't been in the opportunity to complete that drive. So that's a very misleading statistic. When you look at it, you guys are like, okay, you know, the odds of him completing that type of drive is blah, 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 because they've only done it once. No, that's not how it went. The odds of them completing that drive still stays the same. They just never been in that position before. So it's literally mind-boggling. So I don't know what is going on in Bizarre Land. Tom Brady. If you guys did see the first quarter, Tom Brady looks like fucking Jake Delhomme. He looked like Andy Dalton in the playoffs. He looked like, I don't know, Drew Brees in a bad game. He looked like Eli Manning before the fourth quarter. As a matter of fact, I think we'll take Eli Manning before the fourth quarter, because the fourth quarter happens and something magical happens. And I have no idea how it happened. Tom Brady becomes Eli Manning. And it's literally, I can see Matt Ryan becoming Tom Brady. Tom Brady puts his little dopey face on. He straps on his helmet. And after he straps on his helmet, he makes a series of very impossible throws. And what I mean impossible, I mean back to back. These throws were unreal. Like, every time he threw the ball, my heart stopped. Because I'm like, damn, you know, they're down by 8. They need a touchdown and a conversion. So Atlanta hypothetically can let them, or not let them score. Of course you don't want them to let them score. But Atlanta hypothetically can have them score. And if they don't get the 2-point conversion, then it doesn't matter. They lost. You know, it was not that much longer in the game. They got the ball at 4 minutes. It doesn't take 30 seconds to drive. So the odds of them having another one is just extremely low. So he starts making a series of methodical ass throws, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on, Tom Brady? Seriously. Okay. Why? How? How come? How? Like, seriously, it's just how. But I'm sitting there, and I'm legitimately thinking throughout the whole game. Before this fourth quarter thing happens, before all that other stuff, I'm like, the Patriots don't have a number one receiver, like, at all. If they don't have a number one receiver, you need a number one receiver in this league. If you don't have a number one receiver, the odds of you accomplishing much aren't high. And don't get me wrong, I think Danny Amendola and Julian Edelman are good receivers, not number one receivers. Julio Jones is the example of a number one receiver. AJ Green is the example of a number one receiver. A guy that just causes nightmares. Randy Moss, when he was with the Patriots, is a good example of a number one receiver. A guy that just causes a matchup nightmare. And you need to neutralize him first, because if you don't, bad things happen. Which is kind of like the Julio Jones thing. If you don't neutralize Julio Jones, bad things tend to happen. So, they don't have that. But long behold, I see these series of really, really extraordinary catches by what should have been number one like receivers. You know what I mean? Like, these Patriots receivers are extremely sound. And then I see the black guy make a catch. And I'm like, this game's over. Black guy made the catch. Patriots receiver, black guy, game over. Game over. You got a guy with athleticism making the catch? It's over. Oh my God. He was actually a really pivotal part of the second half, which I know goes to show that the Patriots know what they're doing. But that happens, and I am legitimately just dumbfounded that it was either Danny Amendola or Julian Edelman. I get them confused. They're the same person to me. He makes the most outrageous catch, what should have been picked. It just like there was the safety had both hands on it, and since in Madden his hands was like a 50 overall, he didn't catch the ball. But not only did he not catch the ball, Julian Edelman, or the other one, found his way under the ball to catch the ball off of a deflection. So not only should it have been picked, and it didn't get picked, They wound up going for probably the biggest completion. And then that's when I'm like, this game's over. Because let's look back at all the other Patriots games. All right, even the ones they won. Well, let's look back at the most recent one they won before this one. Russell Wilson had the sexiest fucking throw of all time. To Doug Baldwin, maybe. I think it was Doug Baldwin. But Russell Wilson had the sexiest fucking throw. You could see it in Tom Brady's mind. He was like, really? Again? Again? This is how we doing it? When that throw happened, I can only imagine that Matt Ryan was doing the same thing. Like, really? How? How? Like, that's not a catch. Like, you don't want to believe it. Let's take it back to the Patriots. Both the Patriots' losses. And both those catches, Eli Manning does the most dopiest thing. Almost gets sacked, turns around, doesn't get sacked, throws the ball deep. The guy, David Tyree, I remember his name because the catch was so unreal. You got to remember his name. He's never done anything else with his career, but you can remember his name for that one catch. I mean, he has a Super Bowl ring. We don't. All right. So he makes the most miraculous helmet catch with one hand, and that's the end of the game. Look at the other Super Bowl that the Patriots lost. You guys, what's his name? It was Eli Manning again to Mario Manningham. Now, when I say Eli Manning is the most dopiest fucking quarterback of all time, I genuinely mean it. This dude's dopey as hell. Like, it's not that he'd escaped pressure. It's the fact that, he escaped pressure, then turned around and made the perfect pass. The perfect pass. Like, they were both running, the Mario Manningham was running an outside route. So, as you can see, or as you think, an outside route, your outside shoulder is exposed. How the fuck does the ball land in your inside hip when you're on the out? So, think about it. I want you guys to close your eyes and imagine it. I'm running this way. I'm running straight. I'm running a go route, okay? The ball is being thrown, and it can only land on the outside. Legitimately. It can only land on the outside. It lands on my inside hip. Not only does he not drop that ball, how can you? It's in your inside hip. Like, it was like Eli Manning dropped back and did a handoff to a go route. That's how much of an inside hip move that was. So, don't get me wrong. If I'm Tom Brady, I still have nightmares about that. So, he makes that throw, and I know Tom Brady knows he has it. Like, there's no doubt in his mind after that throw that they're going to win this game. The football is a lot about momentum, and when you have momentum, it's really hard to stop. So, that pass is completed. Let me see if I can get up here. That pass is completed. And if you ask me, that completely changes the shape of the game. So now the Patriots, if I'm correct, are inside of their 50. Where they shouldn't even had the ball. They should have had the ball and been down by 11 instead of 8. And they're banging on the Falcons' door. They make another series of consecutive plays, and now they're banging on the goal line. And they score. So now it's 26-28. Now keep in mind what I told you guys. This is okay. The odds of scoring a 2-point conversion, if I remember correctly, last time you checked sports metrics, 50%. So, while it's, it's still pretty high, it's not as high as field goal, which is damn near you got it. All right? So, they score, and they need a 2-point conversion. Their lineup suggests that it's a screen pass. They throw a screen to Julian Edelman. He runs it in for a touchdown. So now we have a tie ball game. And I'm like, how? Like, you were legitimately down by 25. You don't come back from being down by 25. And now, I believe, if I'm correct, it was like 30 seconds left in the game. We're looking at overtime. So, the Falcons did get bailed out themselves. Matt Ryan, instead of taking it to overtime, which I can completely understand not wanting to take it to overtime with Tom Brady as the quarterback, tries to throw the ball. And he wants to win. Like, oh shit, this is free. I'm about to die. Fuck. But I can understand you not wanting to shit, this is bullshit. But I can understand you not wanting to give him time. What the fuck? Not wanting to give Tom Brady that much time. That's completely understandable. Like I said, it's actually pretty smart. But how you went about it, not so much. Now look, this is where it comes back to coaching. Coaching is all about adjustments. The Patriots made adjustments. The Falcons did not. When you don't make adjustments to one of the against the best coach and the best team in the league, you're gonna have a problem because they made adjustments, and if you don't, you're going to lose the game. So now, Eli Manning tries to do that same, bullshit that got him in the first, that got him up in the first half, and he almost gets picked. That pick would have outright won them the game because I feel with even 10 seconds left, Tom Brady could have moved it about 10, 20 yards, and they would have been in field goal range. There wouldn't have been any overtime. But no, we go to overtime because neither team can score. All right? Now, it's actually one side note I want to make. All right? What's his name? I know his last name is Lewis, running back for the Patriots. That nigga was tripping over his own legs all day. Like, he had no ankles. Like, every time he made a cut, I swear, every tackle he had, it was to himself. He would fall down on every play. Like, the boy ain't got no ankles. No, how do you break your own ankles at the most important time? I hope, legitimately, that's not how he runs. I hope that he just had, Super Bowl jitters, because that dude, man, it was funny to watch him. We were both complaining at him. My wife, Jayleen, she's trying. We're all pretty big football heads. But when you ain't got no ankles, he tries to run it was a fake quarterback kneel to and he ran the ball. How does nigga break his own ankles? Seriously, how do you break your own ankles? I don't understand. Tail, stop. Fucking piece of shit. But legitimately, that shit was funny as fuck. How do you break your own ankles? That was funny. You can't lie. I mean, even Patriots fans, even Falcons fans, that dude had all of the tackles on him. How? That makes no sense. But we get to overtime, and I'm like, fuck. Now, the next thing that needs to happen, in order to complete this comeback victory, the Patriots need to get the ball first. Because if Atlanta gets the ball first, they have a pretty high-powered offense. For them not to score, at least a field goal, at least, would be unheard of. And then all the defense would have to do, all Atlanta's defense would have to do is stop the Patriots from scoring, which, when momentum goes back on your side, doesn't sound too hard now, doesn't it? So the Patriots get the ball. And this miraculous, I want to say 8-play drive, 10-play drive, however long this drive was reminding me why New Orleans has a Super Bowl and Carolina and Atlanta doesn't. And it's crazy because Carolina and Atlanta have been to the Super Bowl more times than New Orleans, and if I'm correct, Tampa Bay, which has another Super Bowl ring, might I add. So they drive down there, and it's like first and goal. Sweep right, doesn't work. Pass to Martellus Bennett, doesn't work. This game is getting off the wire. Pretty sure we're in third down, but obviously it's 4-down territory. I don't think the Patriots kick a field goal and then give Matt Ryan and Julio Jones an opportunity to score. I go for it on 4th down because I don't trust. I mean, as much as I did like my defense that time, I don't trust the abilities. These coaches got to the Super Bowl for a reason. So for them to be inept for fucking 5 straight quarters is just unheard of. All right. Dion Lewis. Is it Dion Lewis? No, it wasn't. It wasn't Shaky Breaky. I'm gonna call him Shaky Breaky. It definitely wasn't Shaky Breaky. But for I think it was whatever White. For him, he runs it in the end zone. Now, a lot of you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, he didn't make it. His foot was down." Let me give you guys some footballtology, okay? Let's say the crowd didn't go berserk and the refs actually made a review on it. If the angle isn't definitive, you can't overturn it. Now, you guys can show me pictures and everything, but you guys can show me one screenshot of an angle, like a screenshot of one angle, okay? And this angle isn't even definitive. Like, you can't see it from multiple angles. Like, you have to be able to prove without a reasonable doubt that that is not a touchdown pass. Now, what you guys shown is pretty cute, but it's not without a reasonable doubt that that's a touchdown pass. There's too many other images in the way. There's too many other sides in the way. And to be honest with you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys can't even tell if it's a football or not. Come on, let's be real. Look, I'm sorry, salty Falcon fans. Be real, though. You guys had an opportunity to put this game away multiple times. So don't say the ref screwed you out of the Super Bowl ring. No, your coaching screwed you out of the Super Bowl ring. Your conservativeness at the wrong time screwed you out of a Super Bowl ring. Your aggressiveness at the wrong time screwed you out of a Super Bowl ring. You screwed yourself out of a Super Bowl ring because there were some pretty bad calls everywhere. The refs are human. They're going to make bad calls. What matters is you were up by 25 and you couldn't shut out a team. If you guys seen any of my memes that I put on my Facebook, if you guys haven't, it's actually my real Facebook, not my Cali Effect page. Go ahead and add them. They were hilarious. I felt that they were very warranted. As much as I didn't want the Falcons to lose, or didn't really care if the Falcons won or lost, that would be another ring for the NFC South. You guys blew away a lead that will forever go down, in my opinion, as the greatest comeback in history because, like I said, there are all types of comebacks in the regular season. Those are cute. Those are nice. This actually happened when the game mattered the most, on the biggest stage of the world. That is the greatest comeback in NFL history for that specific reason, in my opinion. There's no better comeback. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to finish killing him. You guys can hear that commentary. And then we're going to be over and out. Like I said, man, if you guys think that there's something else to talk about, there's, a better comeback, go ahead and please show me this better comeback. There isn't one. But most importantly, you guys should be buying the cheapest cards online from your favorite YouTuber located down below in the Google Docs. Thank you guys so much for watching. Cali Effect, over and out.